Hello, welcome to Sunbeam Alpine Tiger Recreation Part 13. This is a bit of a bonus episode. It's going to be quite short, but what we're going to go over is the trial fitting of the engine, the back axle, and then we can determine the prop shaft length so as I can get that sorted out. Then also we've got the tie rods to sort out and the crossover bar. Now, as you can see, I've got the engine in, which is it's good. It is good. I am well pleased with it. The gaps, I can get my fingers between the manifolds and the chassis, so it's all good there. But I have found one tiny little problem to start off with, where the exhaust header manifold is just touching the engine mounting. You could not get a credit card through it. I'm not happy with that. So I'll mark it up with a bit of masking tape, and then I'll know what I've got to do when it comes off. And then, because I've still got some bits to be re-powder coated, I'll have it re-powder coated again. So we ain't going to get any rust on that. But I do hope you enjoy this. It's a bit of a bonus episode. It's something I'm just rushing. Hopefully not making any clangers just before I'm off on my holiday. There will be some interesting ones what I'm going to do, which will be a big brake setup. I'm going through that, and then there's front spoiler, and then also there'll be turbo cooling, suction fans to pull all the hot air out the engine bay. Now that's going to be quite interesting. Anyway, hope you enjoy. Right then, we are just about to get the bolts in on the engine installation. This is just a test first to make sure we're happy with everything, and then we can paint it. It's no use painting it first then trying to fit the engine. So far I'm happy with it. We've got a bolt on this side in, and if you look underneath, everything's in there. I've put the mounts in loose, so the object is to get the back bolts in each side, and then we can just pull it down about 1/4 of an inch just to line that one up. We'll get the bolts in, and then we'll lift it up, pull the bench out the way, and then see where we are with everything. So far, fingers crossed, it's looking good. So it's trial fit of the engine. It's sitting on the front mounts now. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out with the chassis development work I've done for the gaps around the exhaust. If you can see, there's no catching of the exhaust at all now, so we just got to get a remote oil filter thing for that. What I'm going to do now is get the gearbox mount on, get that tightened up, and I think what we'll do is we'll put the axle and springs on, and then I can work out where the anti-tramp bars have got to be welded to the Mustang axle, etc. So I'm going to lower it down in a minute and see what the clearances we've got up on the top for a better view of it. That's the lowest I want to take the car at the moment, but you can see from up top we've got very good clearance there. My calculations worked out just right for the rocker spacers. There's no touching on the firewall. This side is absolutely monstrous away from it, where I had a problem with that corner before, but as you can see, there's a good 1/2 inch clearance on there, so as I can come a little bit higher with this one if needed be. So now this side is the same. All our chassis work has paid off. We've got massive clearance through there now, and also if you see the spark plug hole, instead of being 2 inch, I've increased the size of that to 3 inch, with I've got a nice silicone bung coming in for that. so as I can get my hands in, so as I won't need anybody with doll's hands to take the spark plug out if I ever need to. But all in all, on this engine fit now, we can get other things sorted out the way. I'm very pleased with it. So as you can see from the inside, the gearbox, the T5 gearbox fits perfect. Just more or less where I measured and knew where it would be. So there's a little nice stainless steel cranked lever to where it suits me for when the seats are in, and I've just got to put the middle of the bellhousing thing. Oh, fuck off. Cut. I've got to put the gearbox tunnel in. I've got the original tunnel what come over it. I'm doing it so as it's removable, which is probably good. I don't know, but I've just got to modify that because we've come back a little bit further. I estimate about 30mm off the prop shaft. Right then, we've got the new gearbox mounting in, which I fabricated. Don't worry about these bolts, they're only temporary at the moment. They'll be to the right length using nylocks as well. So as regards as the slave cylinder, that's an easy change rather than getting right back up there between that exhaust pipe. I'm pleased with that. Also, the bracket is fine, everything's accessible up there. We've still got like half an inch, 3/4 of an inch gap through there. So as all in all, I'm happy with that. Like I say, put a neat shield around there. I then can bring this exhaust pipe from a flange across here and through there. Now I might put a link pipe across there now, because I've got quite a bit of room to do it. I'm just going to find out the advantages of it, and also it looks as if I've just missed a little bit of a budge there what somebody's left, so I'll fill that in weld and clean that off. You keep finding these small little things to do, but like I say, get it all done, make sure it's all done, and then get it painted. Trial fits, don't matter how many times, just get it right. When it's done, it's a perfect job. You don't want to be putting it all back together and then turning around and go, oh, we should have done this, oh, we should have done that. Don't rush it, think about it, sleep on it, and come back to it the next day, and you'll probably find you're changing it again. But that, so far, I'm happy with that now. Let's get the axle underneath and springs on, and let's work out what we've got to do with the prop shaft. Well, I nearly forgot. I've got to make a blank for there for the Speedo drive. I don't know, you can see that now, which will be some 1/4 6mm aluminum with a seal in there, and that'll bolt down nicely and sort that out, because I'm using an electronic speedometer, which the sensor will be off the back wheel and calibrated. So I almost forgot that. I will make a mental note of that before it goes together, because it looks as if it's going to be a bit of a bugger to do anyway, if to get in it. But saying that, I could probably get it from the inside of the car, but let's get it done anyway before it goes back together. So I was talking about forgetting stuff. I've looked everywhere for the plate, and then I suddenly realised that when the guy gave me the gearbox and the backing plate, because the backing plate went with the old gearbox, which was the 4-speed. Obviously, he never gave me an inspection plate. So here we go again, cardboard template, and knock some up, and we'll do it in a bit of alley. So there you go, sorted. Bolt in there, one in there, starter motor, job done. Still got your little drain hole there for the water. I'm happy with that. Do I leave it Yeah, I think I will. I'll leave it in its natural colour on that one. So another little job done and out the way. So we've done the rear axle. We've fitted the rear axle now and got that in to determine the length of the prop shaft. Now, I estimated it would be around 30 millimetres, but I think we're going to take off a little bit more than that. And don't forget, when the weight's on it, push the prop shaft further into the gearbox, so as you want a bit of play. Now, I am using a Mustang rear axle, so as it's not your Salisbury Scimitar type axle, English one. We've gone for American Ford Mustang. That came with the car, so I'm going to fit that to fit this 5-speed gearbox. So we have got a problem. The prop shaft's thicker as well. I've got two options. I can either use and get a Salisbury axle, which then again it's more expense. But what I'm going to do on there, if you can just about see down there, it's going to touch there. And I think, and I'm almost certain that Jensen bashed them out with a hammer to get the prop shaft, so it might be the same really, but it didn't bash it before. Maybe it was because it was further in. It don't look like it's been bashed, but nevertheless I'll mark it out, and I think I'll just give it a little bit more room for peace of mind. So that's another fabrication I've got to do. Now, while I fitted the axle with the new springs on, which I've had remade with new poly bushes, I came across another problem. So we put the springs in loose so as we could get them all in. We took the measurements across to the spring faces to make sure everything was right. Now, some of the poly bushes was not put in correctly, so I've had to edge some off the poly bushes. Now, I've got 3.5 bolts in, and I've found a slight problem with the rear. Now, if you can see, the rear hanger is twisted in the chassis. Oh yeah, I love these challenges. So as I've worked it out, I can clean this up. I can tack weld a length of plate on, about 300 or 400 mil, both sides, and using a chain puller, I can slowly get that back. I am 99.0% sure that I can do it. So I shall be doing that and pull that back into line. It's only like about 3 mil, a 16th on the bolt to going in. So that's another thing I'm going to sort out to do. And then obviously there's all these little budge plates what's been put on the spare wheel well. And then I'm going to attack it with a needle gun to clean all the gunge off. But when I'm happy with the axle, oh yeah, I've almost forgot. I've got the tie rods to go in, and I'm going to fit a crossover bar. I think I'm just going to work that out. I can weld everything, the proper fittings to the axle, get it where I want it. And I've done a dummy fit before the axle come out, and it's I've got a good strong point on the side of the chassis. So I think that'll be better than the ones what's on the spring and the what's the name. But that, that's entirely up to whatever you want to do. But I'm going that way. And if you want to know what they are off the Ford Escort Mark II, company called Rally Design, which I'm buying 1 or 2 bits off them at the moment. Quite a useful company, U-bolts as well. So as basically, I've gone as far as I'm going now, because I'm off on my holidays again. So I'm going to leave it there, think about it, and then I'm going to crack into this when I come back. And all I like to say is thank you for watching, and I hope it's been interesting, and like I say, please subscribe. Thank you. Right then, so as we brought this LAT, whatever it is, 77, I think it is, I'm not sure, don't quote me now, manifold for the left hand side of the engine from off eBay. Yeah, it was reasonably priced, and it come from America. Shipping prices wasn't too bad. And when I got it, I thought, oh Christ, it hasn't been used. Bargain. Anyway, you buy these things off eBay and you realise why they are a bit of a bargain for. So let me show you why. Now, I've put the bolts in. The gasket's behind, right, but it will not bolt up. I'm not trying to bolt it up, but I'm going to show you the reason why. Now, if you look here, you'll see it's nipped up on the remote oil filter housing, and it's right tight against there, and you can see how it's away from the head. So it just shows you why this hasn't been used for. You would never get a cartridge type filter on there. You may be able to get a more slimline one of them, but I wouldn't recommend it. So I've worked it out. I think I can make a jig for this, so as it all keeps in line. Get that in the vise, and then if I get it cherry red there, cherry red there, cherry red there, I think I'll be able to pull this back in line with this tube pipe, whatever you want to call it. So that's what I'm going to do today. Like I say, there's always something you're going to come up against, and there's always a way around it. So let's see where how we get on with that now, and get it in the vise, and let's get the hot spanner on it. Right then, we've made a little bit of a jig now to pull this manifold header, whatever you want to call it, out. If I can get it in line with this one here, it'll be fantastic. This is actually a brake caliper tool, and it should do the job. That's what I'm hoping. So what I'm going to do is heat it round here and heat it round the top here, and let's hoping that will give us the clearance we require. Right then, as you can see, we've got it how we want it. Hopefully we're going to try it on the engine now and see where it clears. We've just got a little bit of thinning on there, but nothing too bad. I'm quite pleased with it. A slight bit of distortion on there, but no crimping at all. So as I'm hoping that this will be fine now. And also I've had a problem with one of the bolts there, so as what I've done is just peen that in a little bit more so as I can get the socket in to get it. Hopefully now that should be fine. I wasn't going to show you how it was done because of health and safety reasons, but let's see how it goes now. But then, so as we've got the exhaust header manifold on, and you can see it's pulled it out. Now, honestly, you can't get a credit card gap in there. You can probably just about see daylight on there, but I haven't tightened that up yet, so as you will do. However, you ain't going to get that off. There's no way you're going to get that off without taking the headers off, but you shouldn't need to get it off. So, however, what we've got on here now is, this is quite fat, and I'm sure they do just a narrower one. So I'm going to have a look to see what options available there. You can get an actual remote and put your filter here, but I am fitting an oil cooler. So I want to pipe this into an oil cooler and then back round into the filter, which will be under the front wheel arch and boxed in. So as it be easy, it probably easy to change the oil because there's 3 nuts to undo it, which you'll probably see later in the series anyway. But yeah, I've put also the engine mount on as well, and believe it or not, when that's up there, we have got, you can't really see it, we've got a gnat's gap on that, and the other one, it's hard to see. but that's very close. And I'm just worried about that pipe catching just about there, but I have took some of the chassis out on it to compensate. But same again, I'm waiting for nuts. I think they're 1/2 inch UNC nuts. I'm just waiting for a couple of knocks to come through. So and also what I've noticed as well on this, it is thinner, so it has gone back that way a little bit as well on the whoever's manufactured this, only by a few millimetre, 16th. But if you can see there, that them are tightened up and there's a gap in there. So spring washers, and it's took it up nicely with the spring washers. So they'll all have to have spring washers on this side, unless I cut them down. But we'll leave that till we get it in on the final engine fit. This is all scalloped out now. I'll get a socket on it, so I'm happy with that. So there's no problems now apart from this. So we'll do a bit of digging and see if we can find a thinner one of those. Don't really want to start machining it down. I'm not going to gain, so I mean, for the sake of, like, I don't know, $70, 80, 90 quid, I might as well get a new one, get it done right. Right then, I'm not sure whether you can see this clearly. I've got as much light on as I can. Now, I've ordered the remote oil filter, which is a Ford one. I'm very pleased with the fitting at the moment. The only downfall is that my sandwich plate just needs a reducer, so as I can get that on there like that. So once I've got that on there like that, the pipes can go to the oil cooler and the remote oil filter be channeled out the way. Now, that would not fit on there at all because it's quite thick. That is perfect. Now I'm just going to fetch it off just to show you what the quality's like. Now this has come from China, believe it or not, but saying that, you'll find that everything's from China. It's just picking the right one and a quality one. Now, I've been doing some searching online for a while now, and I am absolutely positive that the manufacturer who has made this makes the Ford ones, and the only difference is the Ford is stamped on it with a part number. You'll be paying $70. Well, I'm not sure about the US, but over here it's £75 for a Ford one, and probably plus the VAT. Now, you can see the seals in the kit. Now, I'll be replacing that seal for a Viton one, and also in here there's another seal in there. That is the correct thread. You can see we can just about get it in there on that exhaust pipe, manifold, header, whatever you want to call it. So I am very happy with this product at £38 delivered to my door. It's took about a week for it to come, and that serves a purpose on the LAT 77 headers to remote oil filter. It is close, and I'm going to put a shield around it, and I'm going to wrap it as well, because you're going to get a lot of heat off that exhaust. You don't want it transmitting that to your oil. So as if we can do some sort of it'll probably be a turbo heat shield. I've used these things, and I shall probably just net it to the whole thing, and that'll keep the heat away from that. So there you go, another problem sorted and solved. The next episode will probably be piping everything up after the trial run. At the moment I'm just making sure everything fits a treat, and so far it's going well. I'm not going to curse it, but so far it's going well. But there you go, sorted. Right, we've solved this problem on this and put the Flowtech oil sandwich plate on now. So as I'm going to get some 90-degree fittings, so as we've get one when I get the oil cooler, to the oil cooler, and then to the oil filter, and then back round on itself in a loop the correct way as well. You've got to watch these. There's don't get it wrong, because your oil won't go through your filter and it'll just fuck your engine up. Excuse my French. So as that, now I'm happy with that. That's the least of me worries now. Also, there was a problem with the Flowtech cap. Now the filter where I've got, the Ford one, it came with I think it was 22mm fine thread, and the Flowtech one was 7/8. Oh, so as we got, here we go again, imperial to metric. So as I looked for a top on the Flowtech website, and they only did a 20mm. So as I thought, oh joy. So as we're back to problems again. Now, what I've done with this, I took it and I measured it, and there was still plenty of meat. So as it was tapped out to the 22mm. So that's perfect now. That's fine.